Yeah, like look,
You know?
somebody just existing as a socialist and having money is not a problem. But like when people within capitalism are thriving and then all they do is hate on the system that has made it so that they can thrive, yeah, it seems
I don't.
hypocritical, it seems
No, no,
ironic,
no, no,
and
no.
it
It's not. That's not the system that made them thrive. It's a. Uh,
oh, they pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and
no,
that's why
no,
they
no, no.
thrive.
No, they.
Yeah,
Hasan says all the time. He said, "I'm just speaking from." I watched a lot.
he says
I
that his
watched a lot
uncle
of his
gave him
content.
a job so that
No,
he could make
he
a lot of
said
money.
he said that he was just born into much better circumstances, like, or some, I forget what he called it, because someone in his chat, one of the chatters he was yelling at or whatever, um was saying
10 kills, homies. 10 kills. Getting in the double digits today,
I
baby.
don't think that you need to take him seriously, because why should he? I guess what pisses me off is that people think they have the right to be disappointed in anyone when no, they didn't say they were doing that thing anyway.
Oh,
That's
brother.
all that pisses me off. Like, just be honest. Just be transparent. Like, what the fuck do you want? Like, why the fuck do you think that, like, how do you know that whatever fucking organizing he tries to do, uh or the money that he donates elsewhere would be better spent on giving to someone's campaign or whatever? Like, I mean, you don't know. We're just fucking guessing. We're just doing our best to guess what combination of actions will yield the best outcome.
Number one victory
And
royale, yeah, Fortnite.
you know, everyone's life, it's their fucking right to decide, as long as it doesn't fuck up anyone else. I just don't, like, I don't even, yeah. So that's the thing. It's like, if you present me with a statement that is like within context, is actually hypocritical to a thing that he said that he was trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I do got to get off soon.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me on, okay?
Well, the chat is begging you to tell Aiko why Hasan is a hypocrite.
Oh my god.
Okay. Well, no. It's not that Hasan is a hypocrite. I don't care about that. I don't care about the individual aspect of this. My big issue with this is just examining the structures and incentives that are at play that lead people to espouse radical politics early on in their content creation career, only to go on to just become essentially liberals who espouse tax me a bit more, daddy. And that seems to be the links to their politics. And Hasan is just the latest example of this in a fairly not long line, but a number of people who go from radical politics, seemingly espousing it, to just saying, "Hey, tax me more," and I just find it a bit frustrating. I think it's worth examining that structure to just establish why that happens and try and find ways to avoid it. Because if that's inevitable, does that mean I'm going to become that when I start to grow bigger? Am I just going to start to soften my rhetoric and be like, "Oh yeah, just tax me a little bit more"?
Well, I mean,
it's troubling. It's very troubling for
me. I think, like, okay, so how much of Hasan's content do you watch these days? Or ever,
I don't watch a massive amount of Hasan's content, but I've seen enough to know that certainly early on he was far more radical than he is now.
I honestly think that a lot of that is aesthetic, and him. I mean, this is what I think.
Oh, so he's a grifter then, even better.
Or not aesthetic. I mean, like, as far as earlier on, the heavy I don't know whatever you call it, Soviet kind of like style of things.
Yeah, Soviet. He had a style of like Soviet realist propaganda. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't
But
he also stop talk about politics less as well?
Hold on. No, he streams. Okay. So I got here to Twitch because of Hasan, because I don't play any video games ever, right? So in the beginning, I just watched Hasan because he was the only person that I knew of, right? So I remember he was like working at TYT and streaming for a long time, and then he started full-time streaming, and then so there's a lot more time that he's actually live for, and I still catch some of it. There's a lot of news that he does, but it's like kind of, it's in the beginning and then sporadically when it comes up, like he does. Based on what I remember him saying before versus now, I don't think that he has done anything that isn't consistent with what he said before, because he always had like hedonistic as a descriptor of whatever his ideology is. Seemed to me that he was always for just having control over your means of production, being able to have the power to provide for yourself and your family without having these, he says about how he's just like he was just born with like a better situation and had opportunities other people didn't have, and he like says the same things. I just think that he's growing up a bit more and being less like of an edgy, trying to like break out of the whatever TYT place where he, I remember him saying like Trump's bussy on like TYT and on like the main show, and Schenk and Anna were both there, and it was hilarious.
Okay, I don't really care about the bussy thing, right? This is okay because you're talking about like the means of production and stuff like that, right? Right. This is my big other problem with Hasan as well. He's completely uneducated when it comes to talking about Marxism and stuff like that. So one example of this is, he spoke about how well, the thing is like, I don't care if people read theory or not. What I have a problem with is people professing to be public educators. I'm like, oh, no, I know, we're cool. But like people profess to be educators and stuff, right? And then he comes out and says stuff like, I gave my editor a laptop to edit videos. That means I'm giving him the means of production, right? The means of production is the means of no, it wasn't. It was a stupid comment because the means of production is everything. The idea that you could just call it a joke is ridiculous to me. I don't think it was a joke, right? He literally doesn't know what he's talking about. Because the means of production means everything that turns something into a commodity that's then sold on the market and sold and distributed on the market. So YouTube is part of the means of production. Unless you own YouTube, unless you own Twitch, you don't own the means of production. You own a tool. It's like saying a hammer is the means of production. A hammer isn't the means of production. It's a tool that it can be part of the wider picture to create that. But it's just a ridiculous comment. And there's other things as well. There was a comment that he made about Lenin. There's to create a commodity, to create a product that's then sold on a market. But the thing is there's other comments as well, like he said about Lenin. In order to defend his own $3 million mansion purchase, he said that Lenin retired and went and lived in a mansion, which just is historically incorrect. And there's like lots of examples of this if you listen to him talk about this stuff. And it's like he professes to be an educator or something, or he's speaking out to the masses about it when he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's spreading essentially misinformation. And that's another thing that frustrates me too. If it was just like, look, hey guys, here's the situation. I'm an entertainer. I'm here to have a fucking laugh and make some money, and that's it. I wouldn't have a problem with it, right? But it's this profession that he is some important, he's getting compared to fucking Marx and Engels and Lenin. It's fucking despicable to me. Yes, you had Vosh on stream the other day saying that, Hasan is, Engels had Engels in a factory, Engels had a house. Engels wrote the foundational theory for leftism for like the last 200 years, and he agitated and did activism for his, his life in order to try and improve the conditions of the working class. Hasan isn't close to that yet.
The comparison was that like they held these values and they also had those things, and so they were comparing the values to the material.
But the difficulty is Engels lived his values as well. Hasan, to my mind, hasn't done that.
No, I mean,
Sorry.
like, if he got it factually wrong, I think that's complete, like, because I don't know about any of that stuff. So if he's spreading misinformation about things he's talking about, then that's bad. And I would say that's a completely reasonable criticism. If he's, like, saying things about Marx and Engels and Lenin, I would have no fucking idea. So, yeah, I think it's what I was defending was the things that I don't know, clips that sounded like he was saying something different than he was,
Hypocritical.
but they were all very surface kinds of things. So, you know, I mean, if he's spreading active, I mean, I covered him a couple days. He had like bad takes on mental health, personality disorders, like in general for like a whole portion of his dream, and that was very bad. I did not like his G word thing, and him like tweeting about how like this word is fine, and co-signing on like the invention of a new slur by introducing it to a bunch of white people that will just call anyone that maybe looks like they could be Cuban like a
Right.
worm. You know what I mean? Because of destiny. So it's
Mhm.
it's stuff like that. So yeah, if he's saying stuff that's wrong, I think that's completely reasonable.
Well, yeah, and you know, the thing is as well is I think people need to understand too. So, for example, like with Destiny's kind of mocking of Hasan, my understanding is like Destiny, you know, wasn't doing it as a point of he's a hypocrite, he's bad. He just was laughing at the fact that Hasan is professing this radical kind of rhetoric, and then he's gone and bought a $3 million mansion. And I think there's some people that just enjoy the kind of absurdity of it, you know. But yeah, I think, you know, I agree. There has been some very surface level critiques. I'm more interested in looking at the structural issues that are at play here, you know, rather than just going Hasan hypocrite, Hasan hypocrite, Hasan hypocrite. To me, the individuality of this becomes largely irrelevant, and it is about these structures that lead to people to these positions. That's what I'm more interested in. But yeah, the frustrating thing is for me though is that, you know, Hasan doubles and triples down, doesn't really interrogate or think about this, and then all of his ridiculous simp army just go and completely defend him. And it's like, you know, just think critically a bit about it, right? Marx said we ought to be ruthlessly critical of all that exists, no matter what conclusions we arrive at from doing that. And I think that's really important, you know. And it's not like Hasan is some small streamer that's bought an iPhone. He has got a significant ability, you know, he's got a significant wealth, clout, etc. So that puts him in a position, you know, kind of outside someone that you would critique for, say, buying an iPhone or something like that. And that's all it is. I just think people need to think a bit more about it rather than just defend. By the same token, though, rather than just go Hasan hypocrite, let's have a more meaningful conversation and critique. That's my whole position.
I think Girly Bear's right. I don't think it's a mansion. Destiny said it's like 4,000 square feet. I grew up in a 5,000 square foot house. Like, that's, I don't know.
It's I think more of the location.
Oh yeah, I guess in LA that's probably a mansion.
Move forehead is like, yeah, just go gentrify somewhere else, or just like, I don't know, pay a landlord, give a landlord a job still. I think that
there's nothing wrong with landlords.
I think it's reasonable to want to have his mom have a good place to live, and if you can afford it, and fucking, I think the house is the least of anything. I think like Chud's problem with him is legitimate. So anything anyone says that they are doing or trying to do is the standard of which we should hold them to. So if he's miseducating, then that is a bad thing. So
okay,
yeah, sure. You know, yeah. Anyway, there we go. I think we've come to a conclusion. So that's good.
You can get in a last word if you'd like.
No, don't worry. I'll let Aiko have the last word because I need to go anyway. So
all right. Well, I'm kicking you guys out anyways.
Okay. Good to see you, Aiko. Good to see you, Tom.
You too. See you later.
Okay.
See you.
Catch you later. Bye.
Okay. Bye, Tom.
Love you too, Aiko. Bye.